The afternoon sky was calm, the kind of sky pilots love. Air India Flight 171 lifted off smoothly, its engines humming in perfect harmony as the aircraft climbed toward cruising altitude. Inside the cabin, passengers relaxed into their seats, choosing movies, planning meals, settling in for a long, comfortable flight. No one had the slightest idea that something unusual was waiting just ahead. High above the Adriatic Sea, the cockpit was quiet, almost peaceful. The captain and first officer monitored their instruments, exchanging routine updates. Everything looked normal until the indicators of one engine flickered for half a second. Just a blink, just enough for the pilots to notice. And then, silence. One of the engines had shut down. There was no loud bang, no fire warning, no vibration shaking the aircraft. It didn't sputter, didn't struggle, it simply turned off, like someone had flipped a switch. The captain's eyes locked with the first officer's. This wasn't supposed to happen. Engines don't just stop mid-flight without a single reason. Still, training took over. The pilots immediately began their checklist. Fuel flow, normal. Temperature, normal. Oil pressure, normal. Every parameter was operating perfectly, except the engine itself, which refused to come back to life. They attempted restart procedures. Nothing. The engine remained dead. Down in the cabin, passengers continued reading, sleeping, chatting. Most of them had no idea that the aircraft was now flying with one of its 4 engines shut down. A plane of this size could still fly safely. But that wasn't the mystery. The mystery was why the engine had stopped in the first place, without warning, without damage, without a trace. The captain made a calm announcement, keeping his voice steady so no one would panic. The aircraft would be diverting to a nearby airport as a precaution. Crew members prepared quietly, keeping everything smooth and controlled so the passengers stayed unaware of the problem. The descent began. Even now, the engine gave no signs, no alarms, no smoke, no mechanical complaints. It was as if it had simply decided to fall asleep in mid-air. The landing was soft, almost graceful. Fire trucks waited nearby, but they weren't needed. The pilots handled the situation flawlessly. Only after the passengers stepped off did the real investigation begin. Engineers surrounded the aircraft, opening panels, checking cables, scanning sensors. They disassembled parts, ran diagnostic tests, inspected every component that could possibly cause an engine shutdown. Hours turned into days, but the results were baffling. There was no bird strike, no oil leak, no temperature spike, no damaged parts, no fuel contamination. Nothing was wrong. It was like examining a perfectly healthy heart that had somehow stopped beating for 10 minutes and then left no clue behind. To this day, the shutdown of that engine remains one of the strangest, unexplained events in Air India's aviation history. A silent mystery in the sky, a question with no answer. How does a flawless engine simply go dark without leaving a single trace? Sometimes the sky keeps its secrets.